मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स, हाउ यू ऑल आर? फाइन. आज हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं लेसन नंबर 16, लाइट मीन्स विजिबल थिंग्स. ओके. द वर्ल्ड इज लार्जली known through the senses. The sense of sight is one of the most important senses. Through it we see mountains, rivers, trees, plants, chairs, people, and so many other things around us. We also see clouds, rainbows, and birds flying in the sky. At night we see the moon and the stars. You are able to see the words and sentences printed on this page. How is seeing made possible? What makes things visible? Have you ever thought how we see various objects? You may say that eyes see the objects, but can you see an object in the dark? It means that eyes alone cannot see any object. It is only when light from an object enters our eyes that we see the object. The light may have been emitted by the object or may have been reflected by it. जैसे लाइट जो है वो किसी चीज़ से टकराती है, प्रकाश होता है और फिर हम उस ऑब्जेक्ट को देख पाते हैं. यू लर्न इन क्लास 7th दैट अ पॉलिश्ड और अ शाइनी सरफेस कैन एक्ट एज अ मिरर. A mirror changes the direction of light that falls on it. Can you tell in which direction the light falling on the surface will be reflected? Let us find out. Draw lines showing the position of the plane mirror, the incident rays and the reflected ray on the paper with the help of your friend. Remove the mirror and the comb. Draw a line making an angle of 90 degree to the line representing the mirror at the point where the incident ray strikes the mirror. The line is known as the normal to reflecting surface at the point. Figure 16.2 ये जो बन रहा है, the angle between the normal and incident ray is called the angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and the reflected rays is known as the angle of reflection. Underline कर लेना. Measure the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. Repeat the activity several times by changing the angle of incidence. Enter the data in table. After striking the mirror, the rays of light is reflected in another direction. The light rays which strikes any surface is called incident rays. The rays that come back from the surface after reflection is known reflected rays. किसी भी चीज़ पर अगर हम लाइट डालेंगे और वापस जो पलट करके जो किरणें आएगी, जो रेज आएगी, वो क्या कहलाती है? रिफ्लेक्टेड रेज. और कोई भी जो हम किसी भी चीज़ पर लाइट डालेंगे और उसकी जो परछाई है वो अगर कहीं पे पड़ रही है तो दैट मीन्स इंसिडेंट रेज. ओके. Do you see any relation between the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection? Are they approximately equal? If the experiment is carried out carefully, it is seen that angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. This is one of the laws of reflection. Let us perform another activity on reflection. चलिए अब यहाँ पे देखेंगे. When the whole sheet of paper is spread on the table, it represents one plane. The incident rays, the normal at the point of incidence, and the reflected rays are all in this plane. When you bend the paper, you create a plane different from the plane in which the incident ray and the normal lie. Then you do not see the reflected ray. What does it indicate? It indicates that the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all lies in the same plane. This is another law of reflection. Paheli and Bujo performed the above activities outside the classroom. Bujo, with the sun as the source of light instead of the torch. You too can use sun as the source of light. Buzo remembered that in class 7 he had studied some features of the image of an object from by the plane mirror. Bailey asked him to recall those features. Was the image erect or upside down? Was it of the same size as the object? Did the image appear at the same distance behind the mirror as the object was in the front of it? Could it obtain on a screen? Let us understand a little more about the formation of an image by a plane mirror in the following way. A source of light O is placed in the front of a plane mirror PQ. Two rays OA and OC are incident on it. Can you find out the direction of the reflection rays? ठीक है 16.3 में तो यहाँ पे देखिए ये रहा 16.3 है ना, ये एक तरह का है। तो हम यहाँ पर ये डायग्राम बनाएंगे और देखेंगे कि हमें कोई रेज जो है वो मिलती है या नहीं मिलती है। देखिए इस तरीके से, ठीक है। You may recall that in an image formed by a mirror that the left of the object appears on the right and the right appears on the left. That is known lateral inversion. Regular and diffused reflection. When all the parallel rays reflected from a rough or irregular surface are not parallel, the reflection is known as diffused or irregular reflection. Remember that the diffused reflection is not due to the failure of the laws of reflection. It is caused by the irregularities in the reflecting surface, like that of a cardboard. On the other hand, reflection from a smooth surface like that of a mirror is called regular reflection. Images are formed by a regular reflection. इस तरह का रेगुलर रिफ्लेक्शन पर देखने में आ सकता है। ओके अब देखिए रिफ्लेक्टेड लाइट कैन बी रिफ्लेक्टेड अगेन। रिकॉल the last time you visited a hairdresser. She or he make you sit in front of a mirror. After your haircut is complete, she or he hold a mirror behind you to show you how the hair has been cut. Do you know how you could see the hair at the back of your head? Pahli recalls having constructed a periscope as an extended activity in class 6. The periscope makes use two plane mirrors. Can you explain how reflection from the two mirrors enable you to see objects which are not visible directly? Periscopes are used in submarines, tanks, and also by soldiers in bunker to see things outside. मल्टीपल इमेजेस हम जब पार्लर में या सलून में जाते हैं तो देखिए पिक्चर में देखिए ऐसा ऐसा है, ऐसा शोन होता है ना, तो वो क्या होता है प्लेन मिरर होते हैं, तो वो ऑब्जेक्ट्स को हम देख सकते हैं, ठीक है। यू आर अवेयर दैट अ प्लेन मिरर फॉर्म्स ओनली अ सिंगल इमेज ऑन ए ऑब्जेक्ट। व्हाट हैपन्स इफ टू प्लेन मिरर्स आर यूज्ड इन कॉम्बिनेशन? लेट अस सी। कैन यू नाउ एक्सप्लेन? ओके यहाँ पे देखिए, कैन यू नाउ एक्सप्लेन हाउ you can see the back of your head at the hairdresser's shop? This idea of number of images formed by mirror placed at an angle to one another is used in a kaleidoscope to make numerous beautiful pattern. You can now make a kaleidoscope yourself. कैलेडोस्कोप क्या होता है? कैलेडोस्कोप होता है ये जो है गेट 3 रेक्टेंगुलर मिरर स्ट्रिप ईच वन, ये दे रखा है देखो, ठीक है। 16.10 में देख सकते हैं, सॉरी 16.6 में देख सकते हैं। ये मेकिंग अ कैलेडोस्कोप, ये ऐसा बनता है, ठीक है ना। नाउ सनलाइट वाइट और कलर्ड, ये आप जो है घर पे ट्राई करेंगे बनाने के लिए कैलिडोस्कोप बनाएंगे, इसको ट्राई करना पढ़ करके, ठीक है. नाउ सनलाइट वाइट और कलर्ड. In class 7th, you learned that the sunlight is referred to as white light. You also learned that it consists of 7 colors. Here is another activity showing that sunlight consists of several colors. What is inside our eyes? We see things only when light coming from them enters our eyes. Eyes is one of our most important sense organs. It is therefore important to understand its structure and working. The eyes has a roughly spherical shape. The outer coat of the eyes is white. It is tough so that it can protect the interior of the eyes from accident. Its transparent front part is called cornea. Behind the cornea we find a dark muscular structure called iris. In the iris, there is a small opening called the pupil. The size of the pupil is controlled by the iris. The iris is that part of the eye which gives it distinctive color. When we say that a person has green eyes, we refer actually to the color of the iris. The iris controls the amount of light entering into the eyes. Let us see how. आपको ये डायग्राम बनाना है रेटिना वाला ह्यूमन आइज, ठीक है. आइज वाला बनाएंगे और इसको नेमिंग करेंगे. इट इज़ अ इम्पॉर्टेंट. नाउ यहाँ पे देखिए क्लास 7 द लेंस फोकस light on the back of the eyes on a layer called retina. The retina contains several nerve cells. Sensations felt by the nerve cells are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerve. There are two kinds of cells: cone, which are sensitive to bright light, and rods, which are sensitive to dim light. Cone sense color, and at the junction of the optic nerve and the retina there are no sensory cells, so no vision is possible at that spot. This is called blind spot. Its existence can be demonstration as follows. The impression of an image does not vanish immediately from the retina. It persists there for about 1/16th of a second of if still images of a moving object are flashed on the eye at the rate faster than 16 per second, then a eye perceive the object as moving. हमारी आंखें जो है वो बहुत तेज़ी से जो है वो देख सकती है, जब है ना हमारी जो रेटिना है वो उसको जल्दी से कैच कर सकती है. ओके, अब देखिए द मूवीज़ that we see are actually a number of separate pictures in the proper sequence. They are made to move across the eye usually at the rate of 24 pictures per second. हमारी आइज़ जो है वो एक सेकेंड में 24 पिक्चर्स देख सकती है. सो वी सी अ मूवी पिक्चर. Nature has provided eyes with eyelids to prevent any object from entering the eyes. Eyelids also shut out light when not required. Eyes is such a wonderful instrument that it normal can clearly see distant objects as well as objects nearby. The minimum distance at which the eyes can see objects distinctly varies with age. The most comfortable distance at which one can read with a normal eye is about 25 centimeter. हम नॉर्मल आई से 25 सेंटीमीटर की दूरी पर भी चीज़ देख सकते हैं. सम पर्सन्स कैन सी ऑब्जेक्ट्स क्लोज टू दैम क्लियरली बट can't see distant objects so clearly. On the other hand, some persons cannot see objects nearby clearly but they can see distant objects quite well. With the suitable corrective lenses, these defects of the eyes can be corrected. Sometimes, particularly in old age, eyesight become foggy. Foggy यानी उसमें जो है ख़राब हो जाती है. It's due to the eye lens becoming cloudy. When it happens, persons are said to have cataract. There is a loss of vision, sometimes extremely severe. It is possible to treat this defect. The opaque lens is removed and a new artificial lens is inserted. Modern technology has made this procedure simpler and safer. केयर ऑफ द आइज़, अब आइज़ की कैसे केयर करनी है ये आप लोग यहाँ पर पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है। नाउ विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड पर्सन कैन रीड एंड राइट, विजुअली जो है इंसान कैसे पढ़ सकता है, लुइस बार्ले का इसके अंदर आया हुआ है। यहाँ पे लुइस, व्हाट इज़ द ब्रेल सिस्टम, लुइस ब्रेल ने जो है वो ब्रेल सिस्टम जो है बनाया था, इसको आप पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है। और इसमें ये जो है इंटरेस्टिंग है, अगर इसमें कोई दिक्कत होती है तो आप मुझे पूछेंगे, क्योंकि ये एक स्टोरी है कि उसने ब्रेल मशीन का आविष्कार कैसे किया चॉक डस्टर के बिना और डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन कैसे किया, ठीक है। विजुअलाइजेशन में हम कैसे पढ़ते हैं। और एक ये डिड यू नो, ये बटरफ्लाई का दे आइज़ ऑफ बटरफ्लाई, बटरफ्लाई का आइज़ दे रखा है। इस बटरफ्लाई को ड्रॉ करना है और इसके बारे में जो ये बॉक्स में लिखा हुआ है ये आपको अपनी CW की नोटबुक में लिखना है, ओके। और केयर ऑफ द आइज़, आइज़ का पिक्चर ड्रॉ करना है और केयर ऑफ द आइज़ के बारे में आपको लिखना है, ओके। पूरे चैप्टर में कहीं पे कोई भी दिक्कत होती है, नाउ यू कैन फील फ्री आस्क मी, ओके। नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, आपको कोई भी दिक्कत होती है बेटा, इसको एक बार रीड करेंगे शांति से, है ना। ये बहुत इजी चैप्टर है और इसको आप अच्छे से समझ सकते हैं। लाइट और लाइट से जो पढ़ने वाले जो इफ़ेक्ट है, और उसके बाद जो हमारे आइज से जो लाइट जब रिफ्लेक्ट होती है तो उसका पर्पस क्या होता है, उसके बारे में इसमें बताया हुआ है, ठीक है। नाउ बाय।